So last night I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw that Sasha Banks has now officially been released by WWE. And it sucks because that is the biggest, or not that, but one of the biggest losses that WWE has made besides Bray Wyatt in 2020. And getting rid of Sasha Banks on the women's roster is already bad enough. The women's roster on WWE is already struggling enough. Doesn't matter if it's NXT, Raw, or SmackDown. The women's roster is already struggling enough. And you removing Sasha Banks is even... You're basically, losing every single good, like superstar athlete on the women's roster. And all you have left on the women's roster is Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, and obviously Bayley whenever she returns, and also Asuka, and that's it. Now, I'm not saying all the other ones are not good. I'm just saying, like, Liv Morgan, she hasn't won a championship yet. Nikki Ash, she didn't take her championship reign seriously at all. Doudrop never won a championship. Who else? It's Natalya going back and forth between women's tag team championships and the world championships. Shayna Baszler only won the NXT championship, and I don't even know about NXT women because there's barely any NXT women that won the NXT championship, and it's sad. It's obviously sad. Oh yeah, by the way, I forgot Ronda Rousey. I forgot she's champion as well too. But besides that, that's it. Like you have barely any women on. You have barely any women on Raw, barely any women on SmackDown, and barely any women on NXT. And cutting her was your best bet. Like, you could have just gave her a hiatus and maybe like see you back here maybe like 6 to 8 months when you're ready, and then she comes back. But cutting her, like the problem with WWE is they always get rid of people because of budget cuts to the point like they don't have anybody. So say for example, if we want a better person for let me try to rephrase this. If we want someone better for like a championship reign, they don't call like someone that's that has basically the same potential as them and probably can do better in the ring. They call the same damn person because they don't have nobody. Like for example, okay, so basically there was two storylines going on, right? There's a Sasha Banks storyline. I forgot what that was, and it was Naomi and I forgot her name, but y'all know who I'm talking about, right? And she was the GM. She used her power. And after that, she was basically working her way to get a title shot. Same thing goes for Sasha Banks. WWE said, nah, Ronda Rousey's coming back. Forget both of y'all storylines and let her come up front so she can get her title shot and win like either the Raw or SmackDown Women's Championship title belt. And that pissed me off because you had so much potential in her storyline and Sasha Banks' storyline, and you discarded both of their storylines just to bring Ronda Rousey back, just for her to lose at Mania so she can win the title back at WrestleMania Backlash, which is pretty retarded and stupid. And I'm like, no wonder people want to leave and request to leave and go to another company because WWE is not doing the work. They're not putting in the work to make these stars become better. So, be like, yo, I love, like, so fans would be like, oh, I love this superstar. He's been everything to me since day one, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, I understand in your eyes, you think that, Naomi and Sasha Banks did was wrong. But at the same time, what they also did was pretty much right as well, too. Because, one, every time you put, a title around Sasha Banks' waist, doesn't matter if it's Raw, SmackDown, or, the women's tag team titles, like, you only keep it for maybe, like, a couple of small pay-per-views, like, for example, Hell in a Cell, Money in the Bank, Extreme Rules, SummerSlam, and then when WrestleMania comes around, she always loses the title. She always loses the title either on WrestleMania or some small Raw show. That's it. And it's pathetic, and it's like, bro, like, you don't give her a year. You don't give her a year to be champion. Like, I understand you want new talent to, like, hold the belt, and I understand that. I get that. But for her championship reign to only last a couple months, maybe, like, not even 6 months, maybe 5 or 4, it's really pathetic, because it's like, you hyped her up so much to be like, oh, she's going to do well, she's going to keep the title for maybe, like, near a year or over a year, and then she loses it. Just like that. And some people in the industry are forced to give up their title because they feel like, oh, they want this person to succeed over them. I'm like, I understand. It's new blood. They want them to, succeed over them because it's a new era, it's a new genre, and basically you want the new people in the company to be successful and get, their title shot and their, their glory of becoming like either a small champion, like a tag team champion, or a big world champion. I understand that. But every good storyline from that Sasha Banks have done has either been cut because another bigger superstar than her has came in and complete disregard her stuff, or they just did it. They did the storyline, made her champion, and then she gave up the title after maybe like 2 or 3 months. And I'm like, yo, you basically saying like she's not worth shit, which is pretty sad and pretty bad. And then you wonder why like big, huge athlete stars just leave because you give them bullshit ass storylines that don't make sense half the time. And I'm like, Sasha Banks is a huge athlete. She's basically like, I think one of the 4 horsemen or 4 horsewomen at this point. Because it's Bayley, Becky, Charlotte, and Sasha. And now you release Sasha, now it's just 3. And now it's like everything that woman has brought to WWE, NXT, Raw, and SmackDown basically meant nothing to y'all. Because y'all was like, oh, she threw down her titles with Naomi, like, this is unacceptable. This is during Raw and everything, and this is during, like, on TV and during our recording, and no, this is not right. I leave here immediately and never come back. And I'm like, and they be like, alright, cool, bet. And then you realize, it's like, wait, I didn't mean it. Nah, I meant it though. I meant it though. Goodbye. And then you realize, bruh, you made a huge mistake. And then you want, say for example, you want big stars that has moved to different companies like AEW, Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling, and you want them to come back to WWE. They be like, I'm sorry we treated you bad in the past. We can make it up to you. We can be the biggest star of, this era for as long as the contract is and blah, 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 blah. And they think, oh yeah, I'll end up, basically putting my end up in the bargain, like saying like, oh, I'll put, hold up the end of my deal, but literally lie to your face and don't like hold the end up to shit, and then give you shitty ass storylines, shitty ass title defenses, shitty ass title reigns, and then expect you to kiss them on the mouth and the foot and call it a fucking day. Fuck no. Like, I am not like, yes, I am upset to see her leave, But also, I'm happy that she's also released because, one, if she does get accepted into AEW or Ring of Honor or even Impact Wrestling, I feel like she'll have a better chance there because they'll actually treat her better and actually give her, long title reigns, better title opportunities, and basically, see her true potential as a wrestler. Because with WWE, you're limited with so much shit that you can't really do. Like when it was the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression Era, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. But now since WWE became PG and TV 13, I think it is, or TV 14. Like, it's not what it used to be. It's all sensitive and people, like, all this type of shit. You can't have, there's barely any steel cage matches that often. There's barely any blood that happens like that. You don't have the barbed wire type, bats and everything. It's not ruthless or not much, aggression enough that it's it just completely changes what I'm trying to say. And I don't know, it's changing for the worse, not for the better. Because every time WWE lose a potential big ass superstar or potential superstar that is currently as big as either Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns, the company goes down and down and down, and it keeps on going till who knows what happens. And at that point, WWE is getting worse at the moment, and like it's probably not going to be fixed anytime soon. And it's sad to me, and I don't know, either it's going to be hard for WWE to do better because, like, with Vince McMahon, he's so up into, like, money, and revenue, and marketing, that you give your people shitty-ass storylines and not the respect they deserve and think, oh, like, yeah, what you're doing is good, but this would be better. When the wrestler knows, like, yo, this is not better for me, this is worse for me. Like, you're either gonna give me a better storyline or like a better opportunity, or I'm leaving. And after that, that's why people believe like Samoa Joe, Bray Wyatt, all like the whole Wyatt family got cut. Braun Strowman got cut. Like now Sasha Banks got cut. I'm surprised they didn't even cut Naomi yet for her shit. I feel like the only reason why they never cut Naomi is because the only bad thing that they in WWE's eyes that she done was put glow sticks and glow around the whole entire SmackDown Women's title, and that's the only thing that they hated. But besides that, she never really had anything majorly big, honestly. And it's like, unless you're not basically a wrestler of like a son or daughter of a huge wrestler, like your father was there in the wrestling industry or your mother was in the wrestling industry, then you're pretty much fucked and screwed, honestly. Basically, if you're not a McMahon or Flair or one of those, like, part of the Samoan heritage, don't matter if it's The Rock, the Usos, Roman Reigns, or, like Dusty Rhodes, or you're not part of anybody like that, then you're basically full of shit is what they're saying. And your values and shit don't mean nothing, and it sucks. And that's how WWE is. But I hope it gets better. But honestly, it's just gonna be worse because that's how WWE is anyway. But yeah, that's my take on the whole Sasha being released. Like I said, I don't know if it will get better, but also it's WWE, so it's probably more likely gonna get worse because that's how they've been for who knows how long, ever since they started going TV 14, or not even TV 14, like PG or PG 13. I don't even know at this point, but